Good morning, AAC. My name is Jordan Schlitzer. I'm your tutor coordinator, and today I'm going to talk about some skills in this transition to online learning for the rest of the semester here at CSU. Now, while some of you may be really enjoying this transition and thriving in this environment, I know there are many students at the AAC and throughout campus and who are feeling a little more like this. This was not something we were prepared for or expecting, and this transition has been hard for a lot of students. And so my goal today is to present you with some skills to lift up, feel a little better about the rest of the semester, and finish off these last 6 weeks as strong as you can. I'll be presenting to you a lot of things, resources from other universities who do online schooling, and they may not work for every student, but these are tips that you can consider if you're having a hard time this semester and try to implement to get through these next few weeks. So this is just a quick overview of what we're talking about today, starting with a welcome to online classes, sort of. The remainder of this semester, as you may have already felt, is not going to look the same as traditional online classes. This blog post that I've linked to here is from a professor who gives some important things that we should remember going into the rest of this semester. The reality is your professors were pretty rushed putting their classes online. There are a lot of classes right now, such as labs, that really shouldn't be online and had to be forced there. And we've all been put in a really tough situation. And so the takeaway from this is that you should do what you can to succeed this semester. And we encourage you to be resilient and do what you can to succeed. But this is a hard situation. We encourage you to work with your professors to get through this. Know that, they are struggling through this as well. And it's going to take some work on everyone's end to get through this and make the best of our situation for the rest of this semester. Now we'll get into some of the actual content, starting with creating your workspace at home. There are a lot of distractions that come with online learning. Some of them are familiar, such as your social media platforms, that Tiger documentary that everyone's watching right now. These are familiar distractions that exist in traditional schooling, but being at your computer for maybe 10 hours a day can amplify that a lot and make you feel those distractions a lot more. And then you also may have new distractions that come in the form of living at home right now, or even just being around your roommates all the time, where you now have to learn to share not only a living space with these people, but a workspace with these people, which is a new dynamic for most people. And so to get started, just some general tips for creating your workspace. Your phone is, of course, one of your greatest distractions. And so I really encourage you to not only put it away, but put it physically way far away from you. Turn it off when you need to be in your productive work mode. Just make sure that you are not just saying that it's not distracting you, but it really is not even possible. It's also important to make sure before you try to get into a session of homework or whatever else it may be that you have all the resources you need. Of course, there's the obvious things of pencil, paper, maybe calculator for that sort of thing. But if you have physical resources that you would expect to have from a class that you no longer have access to, make sure you're communicating with your professors to figure out how that can be replaced or supplemented with an online option or something else. Additionally, jumping down to that final point about avoiding social media, of course, we talked about this already, but one, if you're having a hard time and finding you're getting easily distracted, something that can help kind of push you away from that is this link here. It's a browser extension that will block out all of your social media sites, YouTube, Netflix, all of those common distractions. So it will really force you, once you turn that on, to get in your work mode and prevent you from falling into that trap of quick little distractions. One other thing jumping back up to that third bullet point, focus more on your new dynamic of both working and living in the same space. It's really important to communicate with whoever you're living with about uh, what you need to succeed and when you need to be productive. And so letting friends and family know when you are, going into an exam, in meetings, need to be working on something. So something I've started doing myself is leaving a sign on my door when I need to work on my own for a while. This is just an easy, quick communication to help keep the family or friends and work dynamics separated, but just make sure you're communicating with them and figuring out how to work together so that you can be productive in this new space. Another important thing is how you are going about your day, especially getting into your work day. So it's very tempting to just put on sweats, wrap up in a snuggie, be very comfortable working at home, and then trying to do that. But there's a lot of studies out there showing that it's going to help you if you do some of your normal morning routine, like, brushing your teeth, eating a nice breakfast, whatever it may be, and then putting on more normal work clothes before you try to get into your productive working environment. It may seem like something that's trivial, and of course, it's really tempting to just be in your most comfortable, not seeing anyone clothes, but doing that physical thing can really help you get in a better mindset for being productive as you are going into work and school at home. All right, going into our next section, organization and involvement. Most of us have gone from having a maybe 5 to 7 day a week schedule that's pretty rigid and regular to all of that disappearing at once. And it's a lot of freedom. It's a pretty heavy change to go through at one time. And it can be really overwhelming to figure out how to manage that with both balancing, maintaining your work and school lives, and then also figuring out how your normal life works in there. Um, but I would encourage you to see this as an opportunity to create a schedule that really works for you. Um, it's important to realize from the get-go that even though classes are online now, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be easier. Some of them may even take more time than traditional courses due to the difficulties of technology. And so I encourage you to create a schedule from the get-go. One easy place to start, if it works for you, is your school schedule. So for myself, I'm someone who works pretty well within that 8 to 5 mentality, getting up early enough to get going with the workday. And so I like to have this as a starting point for saying at 10 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I know I have a lecture that I need to watch. And so I make sure that I'm keeping up with that on those days. But the nice thing for many students who maybe prefer to go to bed really late and then get started at noon every day is that you can do that now. You can start your day at 2 p.m. if you like and finish it at midnight if that's how you're going to be most productive. But regardless of what you do, just make sure you're creating a plan, that it's something you can stick to. Make sure you're figuring out where to work in lecture as well as homework, as well as any actual meeting commitments that still have a regular schedule. I would encourage you to just write out a physical thing that you can stick to every week. Additionally, with more long-term planning, make sure you're keeping a tight eye on Canvas and your course syllabi. It's very likely that due dates or exams have changed in the last couple of weeks, and so just make sure you're paying attention to your professor's announcements, keeping a close eye on those course pages so that you don't miss something important throughout the rest of the semester. And then also, even though most of the world is canceled right now, outside is still there. Take some breaks. Make sure it can be easy to see, I have 6 online lectures I need to watch this week, and I want to get through all of them at once, but pace it out. Make sure you're taking breaks and looking out for your health still in this new environment. The other portion of this is staying involved with your courses. So it can be really easy to get down and feel like you're totally isolated from everyone right now, but it's important to remember that quarantine is not the same as isolation. So you still have The upside of all these online uh, changes is that everyone is going to be online and they have the expectation that that's how you need to communicate now. And so this can be a great opportunity to form some online study groups. Attending some virtual office hours can be a good way to keep in contact with professors. I know many of my professors are maintaining a regular schedule of office hours. Many other ones are doing it more on a case by case basis, but just make sure you're doing what you can so that you don't feel alone throughout all this. You still have these human resources available to you throughout the semester. One platform I'd really encourage you to look into if you haven't already is Microsoft Teams. This is kind of the standard for CSU, and they have a guide to get you set up on it. Another one, if you need something that's a little more fun just with your friends, House Party is a sweet just video chat platform if you want something more social, less work oriented. I'd encourage you to check that out to stay connected with your peers. All right, our final section, your resources and your health. Despite any frustrations that I'm sure you all have this semester, CSU really is providing a lot of resources academically and in other ways to help you succeed for the rest of the semester. And so we're going to go through some of what's available to you now. Starting with just some basic online help resources. You may have seen the Canvas Keep Learning tab when you go in to log in. And this just has some great things for getting set up with online classes and learning to learn in that environment. Tilt as well as set up a ton of online resources. This top one, the Guide to Online Classes, is more of a general basic overview of both the electronic component and some basics study skills that you can implement. And then that bottom one is a much more in-depth online resource for if you're having more specific study skill issues such as reading, time management, actively learning in this environment. So if you're just having general issues with figuring out how you learn in this environment, I'd really encourage you to read through some of these, try to find some inspiration in here. Additionally, as you may know, the AAC is still tutoring. We are operating over MS Teams for all of our tutoring now. If you find that you may need some extra help through the rest of the semester, we are still taking new requests, and I encourage you to fill out that survey. Additionally, a new resource that we'll have for the remainder of the semester is tutor.com. Whereas the AAC resource is more of a recurring weekly meeting, tutor.com is a resource if you want to ask some quick questions about specific assignments. You should log in using your @RAMS email address, and you should have received a password in the email. If you have any problems logging into this website, go ahead and contact Tim or Betty, and they can help you figure it out. Other online tutoring resources, a lot of our normal CSU tutoring resources are still active. Tilt is currently operating a system where you can click on any of these links and it will take you to a Canvas webpage that you can enroll in for their specific Tilt tutoring sessions. They're still under their normal hours of operation, Sunday to Thursday, 5 to 10 p.m. Additionally, Eagle Feather is still maintaining their operations over Zoom through the link shown here. Some other important CSU resources, the library, though of course the physical building is closed, many of their resources, including book loan, ebooks, journal articles, tech support, are still all active, so you can check out a list of what they have available through the link here. Some of you may have to use ProctorU for testing the rest of the semester. It's kind of a pain, but it's a pretty effective online testing platform. An important thing to know about it is you must sign up at least 3 days ahead of time or you will be charged a fee for the service. Couple of other options you have this semester, the course withdrawal date has been extended to May 8, and satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or pass-fail grading will be available for all courses by request until June 5th. With both of these options, they are important resources to know about, but definitely talk to your academic advisor before committing to either one to make sure you understand how this is going to impact your progress through college, as well as potentially scholarships, GPA, anything else that may be important to you. Last thing to remember is that though, of course, we want you to succeed academically, your health is more important than ever for the next couple of months. So the CSU Health Network is still available for some services, including emergency medical counseling over the phone. I encourage you to check out their website if you think you need anything. This period of isolation can have some real long-lasting mental health effects. So it's important now more than ever that you are talking to friends and family, that you're keeping in contact with your attention specialists, that you are advocating for yourself and for the people that you care about to get through this period and come out strong on the other side. If you're interested, this article I've linked here provides a kind of interesting literature review about the actual potential mental effects of quarantine. The important takeaway is that there are real things you should be aware of here, and you should make sure to take care of yourself. Use the resources that are available to you if you need them. Remember, we're all in this together. We're going to make it through the rest of this semester. I encourage you to stay connected with the AAC. My email as the tutor coordinator is available here, and Betty Sims is our academic programs coordinator. So feel free to contact us with any academic questions. Stay connected to the AAC over social media, and of course, keep in close contact with your attention specialist over the next couple of months. And we will get through this semester, and we will be strong on the other side of it. Good luck. Please keep in contact with us. Go Rams.